Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Ashley, the Amateur Expert, coming to you live today for this outdoor episode of the Amateur Expert Happy Talk Tuesday. So, we are on location. No, just kidding, making it sound much cooler than it is. If this is your first time tuning in, hi. If this is your first time tuning in, we are going to be discussing Sang, who is one of my Wayne sisters. We're going to be discussing her career path, her idea of success, and the tips and motivators that she's used along the way. Super excited because she is an awesome person, but also multifaceted, which I think is, I'm so fascinated by multifaceted people. Anywho, I'm outside today, so please excuse any outside noises, but let's just, take it in. I see Sang is with us, so let's get started. Hi, joining.
Hey Ash.
Hello, Sang. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am well. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm so excited to be here. This has been a long time coming.
I know. I'm so excited. Welcome and thank you for being on this episode of Talk Tuesday. And so we are a little late today, so I apologize to everyone for our tardiness, but I'm so thankful for Sang for her flexibility. And so let's jump in. My darling Sang, could you please introduce us, tell us who you are and what you're doing currently for work?
Absolutely. So, hey everyone. How are you? Sending you peace, love, and blessings. My name is Sangeetha Santa. I am a 23-year-old artist from Somerset, New Jersey. I currently am a professional working dancer. Love to say that.
Yes.
I just graduated from Rutgers with my bachelor's in 2019 and my master's in December. So your
Yes.
girl's done with school.
Congratulations all around. Congrats.
Okay.
Big up.
Um, and I just decided when I was doing my master's to kind of pivot and choose
Mhm.
this career path of following my passion, becoming a dancer, a professional dancer. So
I
here I
love that.
am. Here I
And you are.
am. It's been, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go, nope, go ahead. It's been
It's
a.
been one heck of a ride, I'll tell you that. And it's just started, so I'm definitely excited to be here and to talk just candidly, openly, honestly about people who want to switch, pivot, make changes, and just embracing their own transformation.
I love that. Okay, so I remember. So when we first met, the thing that um our connection, right, aside from being a part of Ween, was that we were both in procurement. And I was just like, what? This is awesome. So I'm excited to see and talk to you about your journey and then also then making the pivot. So
Yeah, for sure.
let's start from the beginning though. So when you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up? And like, what was the motivating factor behind that?
Yeah. When I was little, I wanted to be on a stage. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember wanting to be like in the spotlight, like attention
Love.
all on me.
I love that you say
I
that because
just,
people don't say that. I'm so happy that you said that. Go ahead, keep going.
I just like, I loved the spotlight. I loved the attention. Like, and I can say that now and think back and think about how that kind of developed over time and who I am now. And it's kind of funny because,
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes when you just like the spotlight, you just like to be there. And then I didn't really realize in what capacity I wanted to be there, whether I wanted
Right.
to be singing
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
dancing or, whether I wanted to be in musical theater. I just knew that when I was on stage, um, I felt a thrill, I felt enjoyment, and I was happy to be there.
Okay.
So growing up, I think that definitely contributed to where I am now, but it was always in the back of my mind, like always. And my parents on the back end always like, all right, school, 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 school,
Hmm.
So that was the duality of things.
For sure. And so did did you first see someone on stage and then that wanted that propelled you to want to be on stage, or did you have an experience on stage that made you feel like, oh no, I want more of this?
I would like to say it's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I started classical Carnatic, which is Indian classical music training, when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of helped me develop my voice. So now I feel like a lot of my training and the reason that I can sing is really attributed to my classical Indian training.
Mm.
And that kind of put me on the stage at first, singing like traditional Indian music and kind of supplementing everything that I was hearing on the radio in the background of what my parents kind of raised my brother and I on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also was thrown into dance class because I had too much energy as a kid. My mom didn't have the patience to have me around here. Like she
Right.
was like, "Girl, you need to put that energy somewhere else."
I
So
love
she
that.
threw me in dance classes, and then I just ended up liking it way, way more than I ever anticipated to.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, kind of a culmination of that. And then more recently, I was at a Khalid concert before he blew up and became this like really big, star and everything. And
Uh-huh.
I saw people dancing back up for him, and I was like,
Mm.
wait, I can do that. I want to do that. How do I do that? Like, get me there. That's where I want to be. So
That's
that's kind
dope.
of how I found myself wanting to really soak up the stage for my place to be.
Dope. So when you were younger, so tapping back into that real quick,
Mhm.
what did you think success was, or what? Yeah, what was how or like maybe how would you define it, or just what did it look like to you?
Um, I think when I was younger, I had, I mean, like everyone, I had less of an experience, so I didn't really know what
Hmm.
success felt like for me, if I'm just
Hmm.
being honest.
Right, right,
I
right.
based
Or
it
maybe
off
not for
of,
you, maybe not for
Mhm.
you, but like what were you like? So for when I answer the question for myself when I was younger, success looked like um a nuclear family. It looked like having materialistic things, but like having like a family unit and like
Yeah.
moving in a unit, right? Like so that's sort
Uh-huh.
of like was like, oh, I can't wait to do or have or be like. So that's sort of like what was your thought process when you were little thinking about it in that perspective?
Honestly, y'all are gonna laugh at me, but I wanted to be famous. I
That's
wanted
good.
to be famous. I was
Okay, okay.
like, I I want to like be a celebrity,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay,
and
okay.
I think that over time that has definitely changed,
Mm-hmm.
definitely changed.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I think part of it is still rooted. Hey, and all. Part of it is still rooted in who I am, though. It's not like my definition of it. I don't want to be famous, but I think now it's kind of manifested in I want to be known in my niche for the right reason. I
Mm-hmm.
want to
For sure.
inspire. I want to spread the energy that was once spread to me. So yeah, in the same way, kind of the same goal, right? Like be
Yeah.
famous, quote
No,
unquote, but
for
for the right
sure.
reasons. So
For the right reasons.
developing into
Absolutely.
that.
I love that. Okay, so take us on the journey because you are on your way there, right? And so you obviously shared that you made a pivot. So you went to school, you have also just finished your master's. So what was your thought
Mm-hmm.
process in deciding your major and what interests you scholastically, and then let's talk about what made you pivot into being chasing or following this dream, or which was your original dream.
Sure. So when I first got to, so I studied at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, and I graduated with a degree in supply chain management. So definitely different from this whole idea of dancing,
Mm-hmm.
performing, and being on a stage. And I
Yeah.
think when I first got to school, I knew that business was a sense of like security and stability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in my like when I was growing up, it was predominantly okay. Well, you're going to do something that ensures financial stability because that is
For sure.
a motivation for success.
Absolutely.
So
Okay.
I knew I wasn't going to be an engineer. I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor. I knew I wasn't going to do all of those crazy big things. I just didn't have the passion or the drive for it.
Yeah.
But I did know that, hey, business skills are something that are like all like you can apply them everywhere. you
For sure.
know, in every facet, whatever it may be. My dad has a small business of his own. So it's kind of appealing, like, hey, maybe one day I can be my own boss. Don't
Mm-hmm,
know where that's
mm-hmm.
going to take me, but business skills were something that are just multifaceted.
Yeah.
So I found myself majoring at first in, before supply chain, business analytics and information tech.
Okay.
And that is like a super lengthy mouth of words that basically is just saying data analytics and coding.
Yeah.
And before I got into that, I was like, wait, hold up, saying you don't like coding, you don't like to code. And that's okay. You know, at least I was discovering what I did like, what I didn't like after taking a few intro classes. And
Yeah.
I chose supply chain because I think it was the most appealing to me. It kind of, for me, was an alignment of purpose at the time. I got a
Mm-hmm.
co-op in a supply chain role, and I was looking to switch my major. So I was kind of like, this is some type of
Mm-hmm.
divine alignment. Let
Yeah.
me pursue supply chain.
I love that.
So that's kind of how I ended up with that degree.
And then, at what point during your master's program did you, well, let me ask you this first. Were you dancing the whole time? And like, were you continuing your creative outlet during that time?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So as soon as I got to Rutgers, I was looking for dance teams. I was looking for extracurriculars. I'm like, where are the dancers? Where are the dancers? And I found a couple different outlets, and I think actually the one that really changed my life was called Dance Team. It's a hip hop team called Raps Dance Troupe (RDT), and I joined that team by accident. I just happened to stumble upon their auditions, and I was like, oh, this is a
Mm.
hip hop team. Saw some familiar faces. I was like, all right, like I'll just try out. And they were such a big uh, part of my college career. I think everybody kind of finds a niche when they're in college, and they kind of
Mm-hmm.
adapt, whether it's a sorority, a fraternity, whatever organization it may be.
Yeah.
And I found that dance team, and it really, really helped me find out that I have this super big dream of dancing all the time. So shout out to Raps, shout out to anyone from
Hey,
RDT on here.
hey, love
Um,
that.
yeah, so that definitely helped me continue my dance career while I was in college.
Okay. And then so you graduate and now it's like, what do I do? Right. So what made you pivot or have you fully pivoted
Mm-hmm.
um, from the business world, the scholastic business world, into being an artiste?
Yeah, sure. So I think yes and no. I don't think I fully pivoted yet.
Hmm.
Um, a big mark for my career and kind of I'm a very spiritual person. I think I really like my conversations with God, and I really like my conversations with higher powers, and
Hmm.
kind of being led with faith.
Yeah,
So I think a big telltale of that sign was getting signed to an agency. And again, like not everybody takes the same career path. I know super, super successful dancers that don't have representation that are doing
yeah.
amazing for themselves.
Hmm.
I think just for me personally, it was a sign at the time that getting representation was just a big boost in my confidence as a
For
dancer,
sure. That
and
makes sense.
gave me that perspective, like, okay, like maybe you can do, like maybe you can make this happen.
Yeah.
So that was one thing for me that happened while I was in my master's program.
Okay.
I didn't really think about, honestly, if I'm just being truthful, I didn't really think about what things would look like after I graduated. I was just kind of living in the moment and being
Hmm.
like, yeah, I'll deal with it when it comes. I'll deal with it when it comes.
Yeah.
And now that the time is finally here, I'm like, okay,
So now
let's
what?
take a moment. What's going on, you know? So
Hmm.
now is when I really feel like is the test of that. Is that pivot working for me? So listen, stay tuned, and we'll let you know. What I can tell you is that so far I've been grateful and like blessed to book a few things here and there, some through my agency, some through word of mouth.
Hmm.
So to actually be making a check off of dancing is something that's like, okay, means a lot to
Solidifying
me.
that. Yeah,
Just,
absolutely.
yeah,
Solidifying
it
that
kind
you're
of,
on your way.
exactly.
Okay, so you mentioned your faith um, being important to you in your
Mhm.
conversations. Um, with God and higher powers. So I want to know, in addition to that, what are some of the things that you use to motivate yourself?
Absolutely. So I think one of the biggest things is definitely divine intervention and God. So whatever that may look like to everybody, I definitely
Hmm.
recommend finding that relationship with yourself.
Hmm.
And the second biggest thing that I will say is my relationship with myself. Um,
That's
I,
big.
I realized that throughout college, I was so busy, and throughout my whole life, really, I was just so busy all the time, and I was
Hmm.
always doing things
Hmm.
that I never really developed who I was for me,
Right,
not for the sake of what people wanted to see.
right.
So I think this past year and really COVID, that
Hmm.
this whole entire time has been for me transformational because now I'm actually sitting here and thinking, like, who do I want to be when no one is looking at me? When the
That's
doors are closed, when the
good.
lights are off, all of that, what am I going to do that'll bring joy to my heart and to make me happy? So I think that is definitely something that I use to ground me. And I have, if you
Hmm.
all see over here, I'm gonna show you a little thing. This is my door,
Behind the
and
scenes, we love that.
these are all my little posted affirmations. And just like Issa is on Insecure, she's doing all of her, rapping in the mirror, all those little things. Like I'm
Yeah,
doing the same thing. People really do that. People really do that. You know what I'm saying? So finding those moments of conversation with yourself, how to make yourself feel happy, filled, and even when you're feeling down or not motivated, tapping into
hmm,
those habits that you've developed to kind of pick yourself up. And
for
family,
sure.
definitely family, friends, like an encouraging support group, like knowing that if I'm not feeling okay, that I
Yep.
have people in my corner that will pick me up. You know what I'm saying? Because whew, it gets hard out here, and I'm sure it gets hard for all of us.
It is so important to have a crew or a support group or people, a person. Because sometimes I know for myself, I know, I started Affirmed Armor to motivate myself, but sometimes I need motivation to do Affirmed Armor, right? Like you need somebody. It's my personal opinion, even if it's just one trusted person. So I thank you for sharing that with us. Um, so what is something that you have learned or you're still in the process of learning that you wish you'd learned sooner?
First of all, shout out to Affirmed Armor. Um, it
We're
really,
rocking
like,
some
really,
Affirmed Ever right
yeah.
now.
Shameless plug, everybody. Um, but one thing that I think I'm in the process of learning, that I wish I kind of put the importance on when I was younger, is really, really, really the relationship you have with yourself. Like,
Hmm.
if I could go back and like try to learn myself a little bit when I was younger, I mean,
Hmm.
I don't regret it because I had a great time. Life has been cool.
Right.
Life's been cool. I've messed up. I've made mistakes, but I've also had an amazing time. And like, life will teach you its lessons when you are meant to hear them and when you're meant to receive them,
That
right?
part.
So I just know that going forward with what I take with myself, I want to really speak convictions in the words that I say to myself.
Hmm.
So, really practicing preaching my worth to myself, practicing that, even if I don't know where this dance career is going to take me, that I have the strength and the knowledge to know that I have so much to offer. I'm
Period.
not
Yes.
just I'm not just a dancer. Like I'm a personality. I'm a clown. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm funny. Okay, book me. Okay, but you have a lot more to offer than what is just on your career path.
Yes. And I think that's so, so important to say. Because you are like if you're not a monolith, right? You aren't a dancer. You aren't a singer. You are a full
Right.
human that has varied interests that will change. You know what I mean? You have different
For
skills
sure.
that can and will change. And so it's important to be in tune with yourself, like you're saying, so that you know all of the things you have to offer. And sometimes things will wane, and sometimes things will be higher on your priority list. But it's so, so, so important to realize who you are at your core, and who I think also who you can be, right? Like
Absolutely, without a doubt.
allowing yourself to see yourself in places and areas that you can reach and grow.
Hmm.
Um, Saying, I love you, man. You just always you're always dropping the gems. You're always just so calm with it too. I think that's I
Yes.
think that's what I love too about it. It's just so like philosophical, you know? I think that's what it is.
Honestly, who knows, man? Who knows? I just like I'm just grateful. Thank you so much, Ashley, for this. Like this is an amazing space. Like I feel honored to just be here to speak and to everybody listening. Like thanks for listening. You know, like I think this is so cool. Um, like for you guys to want to share your journey and for people who just want to do it. Like honestly, just follow where your heart takes you. You know what I'm saying? Like life is too short to be worried about not having the right job or not doing this or not doing that. Like you just gotta do it. And it's scary. Life's hard.
Try.
Like we just do it. We just go.